LD7, and today we're going to be playing some more modded Satisfactory. Give me one moment while I update the game tag on the YouTube end of things before we dive in. But today we're kind of going to look at building an encased industrial beam factory through the use of the Buildable Resource Nodes mod primarily, but we also will be able to show off the efficiency checker mod a little bit. While we're doing this, we can use it to kind of take a look and see if my math is good or not. It can be like our double checker, more or less. So there we go. We got the game updated on our stream on the YouTube side. So we should be ready to roll. Let's do this. So I'm taking a look at it as at an assembler at the moment. Let me go ahead and turn on my game view so you guys can see what we're doing. I'm also going to turn on background music. All right, there we go. I think I have that mixed the way I like it. We might play with it later. But anyway, we're making these guys right here, Encased Industrial Beams. They're used in the versatile, or not those. Oh, really? I can build these now. Cool. I think it is these guys. No? Stators? Motors. Maybe it's not this tier, but I think you need these for the Mark IV belts, and the heavy modular frames take these. So, like, I haven't done the heavy modular frame research yet. Or, actually, maybe I have. Okay, well, whatever. We need encased industrial beam. We're going to make a decent-sized factory. Not a big deal. It should be fun. Shouldn't take too long. More or less what we're planning on doing. So these do 6 per minute, 24 steel beams per minute, and 30 concrete. Now, the 24, how much steel... Now it's steel beams. Okay, so that's what we've got in the box up there. So we might be able to split some off to make this, and I think that's exactly how we're going to do this. Because I have a bunch of excess capacity of these things. So like concrete, I've got this gigantic line down here that just has so much concrete. I also have a storage container completely full of concrete, and all these machines are probably full of concrete, almost, or pretty close, whatever. And then in addition to this battery of concrete, I have another concrete that feeds into this line via that merger on the other side that's also 3 or 4 concrete factories. So we should have enough to feed this in addition to keeping that box topped up. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go right up near the back of my box. Now, I've done a little bit of caterium research in the MAM, so if you haven't done that, go ahead and take a look at the caterium tree to get the smart splitter unlocked. So I'm going to basically take one of these and put this guy right here, and all I need to do is get access to him like that, put the center as overflow, and right now, since there's nothing connected, everything is considered overflow, so it's just going to go ahead and push everything straight into our box like it normally does, or like it has been doing. But we can pull lines off of this, and it will feed these as if it was just a straight feed. So like all of these lines right here, they all will feed out whatever line we connect next, with priority 1, meaning that like whatever line we connect next is going to have the most priority, so it's going to have precedence. So this belt that fills our box will only be filled, or only send items to it. The splitter will only send items to this belt when this belt is full. That's basically the idea. So that's how we're going to utilize that. If we take a look, we can use the efficiency checker mod right here with the slim. If we put it upwards or centered, the top side is good for this kind of stuff if you're just going to check something real quick. Outside of that, I do prefer kind of the side belt checkers, more or less. This is a wall one. I don't know how that actually works. So let's see. We inject 105 per minute is what this guy is saying. Now that may be limited because we're not actually pulling everything, but we've got 3 right there. What tier belt is this? It's a Mark II. Let's just go ahead and make this a Mark III. While we're over here, just in case this doesn't have the throughput required to move all these items, which is possible, I don't know. So there we go. These are all Mark III up into this splitter and then out the splitter as well. So we should be good. We should be able to pull enough items. If we reset input, did that change something? So limited throughput's 270, but it can do 105. Cool. Now, we only need like 30 of this to run one of those assemblers, making our industrial beams. So what we could try to do is we could try to maybe build, like if we go for, let's actually look at our plates over here and see how many of those we're getting. I have a feeling this is going to be our limiting factor more so than okay, this might be a little bit interesting. So this is because I just kind of wanted to get this box set up. So let's go ahead and fix this right now. Kind of show you what that looks like. So we're going to break out this merger. We're going to break the belts leading into the merger, which are only 2, which is not too bad, honestly. Pardon the pun. But here we go. We're going to go ahead and take this. We're going to merge these guys back in together. But I think we're going to do it offset a little bit. We're going to do something like this. Now, it's still not going to be amazing. How many of these are coming out a minute? 15. Okay, so Mark 1 belt is more than satisfactory, lol, to carry these items straight in and not be limited on throughput. Now, this is probably... Oh, those are only a Mark 1 as well. Really? Huh. Okay, well, fine. Go ahead and take this. Feed that guy right in there. And it's still relatively decent looking. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. And then what we can do is we can stack. So first we're just going to take a normal splitter because it doesn't have to be a smart splitter first. Then we're going to take this. We're going to put the input of this smart splitter so it's meeting with the output of this merger. We're going to break the one in the middle. Then what we're going to do, and the way this determines this direction is like this. So if I say right is going to be overflow, then I can go the Mark II belt just because we have them. Why not use them? Type of a thing. Length. We can't go from there. Can we go from this one to that? We can. So what we'll do instead is we'll adjust this to center. That's a little bit easier, then you don't have to worry about the sides anyway, so fine. Center is going to be our overflow, filling up our box that we're going to use for ourselves. We need to put in a belt, so Mark II lift should be more than capable of doing this, so there we go. That'll automatically deliver the items in, and we should be able to verify that because they'll start coming in off this belt. Yep, there you go, coming right on in. So perfect. We've kind of redistributed our steel beams to allow us to branch off to use these in our second part of the factory. So we've got concrete right on that line, we've got steel beams on this line. So realistically speaking, it makes the most sense to kind of build it off in this direction. So I think what I'm gonna do, we've got these 3 boxes right here. What we can do is we can set a target to input these items. Let's say, you know, I feel like these are going to be kind of like these. We're going to want them up a level. Honestly, let's actually just bring it out this direction. Why not? Right? There's mostly just belts right here anyway, so it's not like we're walking through this. We can jump over that. That's fine. But injected is 120. Throughput's 240. What's wrong with this? Why is that red? Is it because we need more steel? Well, sorry. That's what we got. We might be able to compensate, though. Because... Actually, those are independent, huh? Okay, well, you know what? That's fine. How is this one? Is the one I'm honestly a little bit more... I'm getting distracted. Let's build the factory. Let's build the factory. I'm getting distracted. Sorry. There we go. We're going to aim to put our output right here. And what I'm going to do to kind of make this look a little bit nicer, maybe, is throw down some of this catwalk. I actually kind of prefer this to using the ramps. If I can get it to snap where I want, which sometimes can be a pain. And I think that's just the nature of the way these ramps and stuff work. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up 5 right in the middle. And then what we can do is we can do a T crossing like that. I don't believe did I double place that? I did not. It looked like it double placed. So the only downside with these is sometimes they're a little bit glitchy, I guess. But then what we can do on this side is we can make a ramp to take us more or less over to this part of the factory. And I'm going to do it with these little curvy bits because why not? Makes it easy. I really need to add these to my hotbar is what I need to do. I have not done that yet. And that would make building this kind of stuff a little bit quicker. Straight away, turn, and we're going to do a ramp. We'll just bring that down to the floor. And just like that, now we can slide right through that belt, which actually kind of works out to be a cool little overhang for our ramp. But there's that walkway, so that kind of navigates us over the plate, rods, whatever is being built in these smelters, foundries, whatever's going on down here. And we can get into the other side of the factory if we so desire, because there is a walkway down right in front of where this ramp leads out that will take us into our power station. So that kind of works. What we're going to do here is we're going to do another ramp, and we're going to take this one up another 4. And then we will do a straightaway. Just a single one. And I like doing the straightaways off of these between this and where I connect between the ramp and the foundation that I'm going to place now. And I do that because, I don't know, I like the way that looks. Do what you want, obviously. I hit the halfway mark. That's not what I wanted to do. So the only downside with these is you do have to kind of aim to get them to align properly with the structures below. But I'm going to just take this out to maybe, I don't know, let's say 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 off and 5 or 4 off. 5 off again. Why not? And then we will just go ahead and extend this out a little bit. Give us some working room. Because basically what we're going to do is we're going to build the factory right here. Now, it doesn't have to be too massive. It realistically just needs to be a platform for assemblers, more or less. And really, this is probably overkill. But we're going to leave this size anyway, even if we only need, like, this part of it. So maybe we'll try to do it in half. So if I take this, let's go out 1 more. 2 more. We'll go out 2 more. And then we're going to basically use half of this platform for our industrial beams, and then we'll maybe use the other half for something else later that utilizes these industrial beams we're going to make. So our inputs are both on this side, so if we build our assemblers coming this direction, it'll be a little bit better for us. So let's go ahead and put 1 here, 1 here, and I think we're going to shoot for maybe 3. It's 2 under 20 a minute, but 18 a minute will hopefully be enough of this coming in. I mean, how much is that using? So the only thing I'm kind of concerned about is the steel beams, just because they're expensive. The concrete I could care less about. So let's actually go for 2. We'll go for 2, just a small build. So 12 per minute. It'll fill up that crate over time anyway. It's not like we need these a ton. Now, we do need to put our output right there. So from these, let's go ahead and start with the outputs. Because why not? Easy enough. We know where they need to go. And they're the closest out of everything we're going to have to connect up. So we're going to align this with this guy. We're going to take just Mark 1 conveyors for all of this belting for the outputs, because it's not like they're going super duper fast. You're only having 12 on this. This can handle up to 60, so that's more than enough, right? Let's go ahead and bring this in. What's that? That's the line. Okay, perfect. We'll do that. And then the input is back here. So what we could do, yeah, there we go. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because in the future, when we need to split this into an overflow, and actually let's just build that split point right here because it will be the easiest to do. Configure this smart splitter so the center is overflow. That means basically Right now, we don't have a use for these in any of our factories, so nothing's attached to the side, so everything's just going to go through the center. But if we need these for something in the factory later, we have 12 being built a minute right here that we can pull off and just have the overflow of that go into this box. So like we could steal 10 a minute off of this and still slowly trickle fill that box up and be fine. So that's why I'm doing this. We also can utilize the fair amount of space that's left in the center, or this portion of the platform. Like we could build a third and then another bank of 3 on this side and have a total of 6 for almost 40 a minute. It's 36 a minute, so not quite 40, but that's okay. If you power slugged one of them, you could maybe get it to, you'd be able to get it to 40, but I don't know if that's really worth doing for this particular item. Just because power slugs are a little bit of a valuable commodity. I mean, they are and they aren't, right? Like, I have 3 power shards on me, yeah, so I could afford to power shard one of these and get us to the flat 20, but I'm really not that worried about it, if I'm honest. Now, let's go ahead and do the inputs for these, so that'll be a little bit more fun to do. Well, kind of. So there's this one, which is one input. And then for this one, I think we're just going to go out to the side a little bit because it works. It's not too complicated, and it should be good to go. Let's see, what are we working with? 30 and 24. I just wanted to double check that nothing had a high item requirement, meaning that there's no like above 60 per minute requirement on any of these inputs, because when you're working with like some of these assembler recipes, so like screws, reinforced iron plates, that, or well, I don't know. Sometimes you need more than 60 items a minute to go into the factory, and a Mark 1 belt won't do that. I have access to the higher tier belts, but there's no reason to build those if I don't need to, right? So there we go. All right, inputs are configured, and there's room to expand. So these side outputs of these splitters that we're not using could be used to branch into an additional splitter and fuel another 2 factories. So we could expand this relatively easily. All we need to do is bring in, and really we could do this all with Mark 1 belts, which is actually really nice, cost effective anyway. So we'll bring this one out. Maybe we'll bring it out like this. We'll have the, come on, I know you want to. Fine, we'll do that one like that, so we'll be able to tell them apart. And then we'll do this one. I should be able to get a nice 90-degree bend into it. Like that. Cool. Awesome. So we got something like that. I can maybe fix this. Let's see if we can fix this. I really want it to be a 90-degree bend in line with this one, like right next to it, you know? That way our belts look nice and neat. But so maybe the way to do this is with one of these. So if I take this, let's say that's our target. Sure. Oh, okay. Well, fine. I don't know. It wouldn't let me build that snap point directly, but that's okay. No worries. So now we've got our points for our inputs. Basically what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to run it underneath the factory. So let's go ahead and open up our menu. We're going to take out conveyor lifts. We're going to bring it all the way down, like so. We might adjust that, actually. I wish I could reach these once I jump down there, because that's kind of what the plan is. Maybe, like, there will be good enough. Let's try that to begin with. So I want to put it off of this one, which good, it snapped. And we're going to go right in line. So I can maybe drop down to this one. I'm going to take some damage. It's not that big of a deal to me. Cool. There we go. Awesome. We got that. So cool. That's kind of in line. Kind of. Because, well, it's not in line with the one. So let's go ahead and get this one sorted. The output is connected already. We are pulling steel plates from one of these. So let's go ahead and make this the steel plate. Sure. So if I grab this, I need it to come down to this splitter right here. So let's actually maybe build the lift from the splitter. That might work. We can go up to about the same height as this one. And that should be able to snap reasonably smoothly. I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it'll work. It'll get the job done. So that should... Well, it was supposed to be getting some steel plates, but it doesn't look like it's doing that. Must not have snapped properly. Let's go ahead and break these. Sometimes these lifts are a little bit fickle, so you may have to mess around with yours to get it to work. Let's see. Right. Okay, so I want it like that. Yep, items going in the bottom, coming out the top. Perfect. And I want it to take those items and go right up like this. Will you do that for my good sir? Do I have to configure this to say any? It does say any. Steel plate. So like I know it worked for this. Like if I pull out a stack, that belt is still getting filled. So what is the dealio? Do I need to like put a belt out here? Like if I do this and go up like that, delete that, will items go on that belt now? Okay. This would be the left. So any undefined? Any undefined seem to fix it. Okay. So what we can do instead, let's try using the lift again, because I think it probably was just a smart splitter setting on that. Let's see if we see... we'll be able to tell right away because the items do visually animate as they go up. And yep, there we go. That fixed it. So I guess if you're going to throw a smart splitter in your mix like that, make sure you go to the splitter and configure the sides for any undefined. I'm going to leave this one until we actually need to use it because it doesn't really matter at this point for us, but if you're using it to, like in the overflow function, kind of like how we're using the smart splitter down at that box, this is how you deal with that. So there's a little bit of an inclination on that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I could bring it up one more and it'd be in line, but whatever. So, cool. One of the inputs, check mark, we got it figured out. Now we got to bring in concrete. Should be fairly simple. This one we are probably going to need to go and configure that smart splitter with any undefined on the sides. So go right here. Let's just say we're going to do it from the left, shall we? Let's do this, and I'm just going to snap point it. Well, our lift is up in this area, so we do something like this. Yeah, it's right over there, I can see. Perfect. We can actually I don't want to do it like that. So then it kind of impedes the ramp, so what I can do is use the ramp as a snap point and bring up the elevation a little bit right here, and that'll work. I could use lifts for all of these changes in elevation, and the lifts look good, don't get me wrong, and I can afford them and everything. It's just I feel that sometimes not using the lifts is a little bit nicer, you know? I don't know. There we go. Alright, connected. So there's our concrete, there's our steel beams, or steel plate, whatever. Or actually, I believe it is steel beams. I think I said that right. It's whatever you... It's these guys. Not these. These. Steel beam. Yeah, I got it right. Yay. So there's our steel beams connected. We should see some concrete slowly trickling in. These are all marked, well, Mark 1 belts, mind you, so the items are not going to move all that quickly. We can kick things off if we split this stack and throw in some concrete. Because these do take a little bit of time, I believe, to produce. Yeah, it's only 6 per minute, so that's fine. That'll give the concrete time to buffer its way up. Yep, you can see it coming in right there. Ooh, we died. Dang. We couldn't quite handle that with the blade runners on. That's fine. We can go get our stuff relatively easily. This is the ramp right here, so it's actually pretty close to where we fell. I meant to land on like this rock structure right here, but I kind of missed. That's fine. Here we go. Open the crate. Take off. Boom. Alright, let's re-equip our stuffs. And we can heal on up. We've got food-ish. I mean, I need to go out and gather more food all the time. I probably at some point will look at installing a farming mod and maybe take a look at doing one of those. So if you have any suggestions for Satisfactory farming mods that you think are pretty good and are worth taking a look at, let me know in the comments down below on the YouTube video side, or if you know, not like, I don't know. Twitch is a little bit harder to communicate through, unfortunately. So yeah, it's easiest on a YouTube comment, if I'm honest. So yeah, just do that. But no worries. While you're over there, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new and have not done so already, because there are some videos that just get uploaded over there. Kind of the build lab stuff, like some of these factories, so like this factory, the power plant over there, all these various pieces and parts of our operation here, our playthrough, is documented. It's just done through YouTube because it's a little bit easier. I can speed up the footage so you don't have to watch me place a ton of the same building. Like modular frames, I got modular frames set up off cam, pretty easy. I got an alternate recipe from scanning a hard drive that lets me use steel pipes and tube reinforced iron plates, so this is way better in my mind than the default recipe, just because it takes so much less iron. Or mainly, I don't need very many of these steel pipes right this second, so like I can use it to make those. But as you can see, we're starting to get some encased beams, so fantastic. They're coming in. It's kind of cool. You can see them coming in on this little lift right here. Do I have anything architecturally speaking? I do have these frame pillars. I need a snap point is the thing. Maybe if I take a foundation, will it snap to that? It will not. If I do something like this, yeah, we'll do something like that. That looks kind of cool. I don't know. It looks alright, like, it's just an industrial one. Like, this clipping right here is the only piece I'd change. Like, if you could back that in line with where this part ends, so like this is right in line with that, that'd be perfect, but close enough. I mean, you only notice that if you're right there. Like, from this distance, it looks good. Cool. And then it also gives some supporting structure for the belt right there. We could do this, a similar thing with this, maybe. Well, maybe not. It won't be as easy with that one. We could go underneath and add in the supporting pillaring for this, however. So concrete, I kind of like concrete. I don't want a big one. Just do a medium. Is that clipping through the top? I actually should probably check that. It is. I do not want that. That's the downside of these. So let's actually use the beams. They are a little bit of a pain to use sometimes, but that's okay. We can make it work most likely. So if we take a beam support, I definitely want one right there. But it's going the wrong way, which I don't understand. Like, maybe if we take a connector, we could place a connector under that one. And I think we have one right there. And then right there. So let's go ahead and use the metal beams. Oh, whoops. I forget. These are a little bit weird to place sometimes. So I want you to go the other direction. You walk over here. You might be able to get that. There we go. That's all I wanted. I don't want one right there. Perfect. I know this costs a ton of resources, but it's okay. We've got them, realistically. So, why not make things look a little bit nicer? I mean, it's just extra detail. Realistically, the industrial catwalks have this kind of stuff underneath them in it, as it is. A little extra layering of the texture, I guess. The only one who's ever going to see it is me, I suppose. What we could do, I guess we need another connector. Come on. Oh, you almost had it. Good, sir. There you go. Awesome. Alright, so we've got the underbellies kind of connected. Now, if I take a small concrete, they are a little bit big, huh? Okay. So maybe what we do is take the painted beam, bring that down, and then we can put the beam support underneath. So I need the beam support right there. If I'm looking at the same spot, I would think it would align, but it does not. Let's try that. Perfect. Okay, so we'll put one there. Put one here. What I can maybe do is start it and use that as a guide. Probably gonna plop like right. Actually, that's gonna off. Let's bring that down a bit more. That actually might be the correct snap point as it is, and it looks like it is. Cool. Put one there, and then we can throw one more, just this guy. The other ones, I think I'm just gonna leave the way they are for the time being. I don't think they need supporting pillars. Like those three right there would be enough to support that catwalk. I feel like give it some realism, and then like these connectors are just used as snap points. But cool. So now our factory looks a little bit good. Not yeah. You know, as good as I can make it anyway. So let's take a look. These are working the way they're supposed to. They're slowly filling up with items. They're getting a little bit of overflow, it looks like. Not too much, but a little bit. If I throw down our efficiency checker, and throw on one of these guys, and let these buffer for a minute. So basically what these are going to do is calculate the throughput of the items and the required items and how much we're supplying, how much limiting factor the belts have, and yada yada. So this, so it's still calculating. Same on this, it's still calculating. So it needs to go for a minute. And that's just because these are slow belts. Like, I think if I was using Mark IIs, it might work a bit better. I mean, this one's like full. Fine. Same with this one is like full. So, I mean, they're getting enough items, I'm pretty sure. It's just, I'm not sure why these are not working. Let's hit that. Enable auto update. You know what? Use default. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I'm not too concerned. I just don't want that sucking away server, or not server, but like game resources. You know, because it's running a constant update, so there's a calculation being made. There we go. We got Encased Industrial Beams. Fantastic. And that should be enough to actually do this milestone. So let's go ahead and do this for hypertubes. I actually thoroughly enjoy building hypertube stuff, so be sure to stay tuned. There will likely be a video coming out on one of my channels, either Twitch or YouTube, with me building some hypertube stuff, because I really do enjoy that part of the game, or that method of transit in the game. It's fun to put those systems together. I don't know why, it just is for me. So yeah, we're gonna do some of that. But let's go ahead and top off that. We could use some concrete. You know what? We'll keep 2 stacks. It's fine. Yeah, I don't care about the tutorial stuff. So now we're kind of in a decent spot. So we've got a box of rotors right on up in here, full. We've got a box of refined iron or reinforced iron plates right there, full. So we have the stuff to make control units, versatile framework. Let's just do it. So smart plating. We can build these. We've got the stuff in boxes. We could do this fairly easily for phase 2. Next, we need versatile frameworks. These are steel beams and modular frames. I've got modular frames in a box. I've got steel beams in a box. We could do this fairly easily as well. Automated wiring. I need to build stators. That's the only thing I'm missing to being able to automate automated wiring. But that shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. There's steel pipe and wire. I believe I got an alternate recipe for either copper, or I think I picked up the wire one. Yeah, with caterium. So I could use currently. So I went ahead and connected up a pure caterium node and built this little caterium factory as well. So level 1, or well, basically on the other side of this truck station is a 4 smelter battery making caterium ingots. It fills up a truck station. The truck that you saw leaving goes to that station, brings it back here, it gets deposited, and it comes out in this belt. This belt then gets fed as an input right on over here, so we'll be able to watch the items come in. So this is actually a good time to show this off. But there we go. See them coming on in on the lift. Looks pretty good. They come on through, and they feed all of these to make us more quick wire. So quick wire comes out right here. In fact, I need to up the belts on like all of these. I didn't realize these were 60 on output instead of... So that's a Mark II. That should be fine. 60, 60. This needs to be a Mark III. I think that is a Mark III already. Mark III. Okay, cool. That should fix our throughput on that. But basically, it gets built into quick wire on this layer. Goes into this box because I do want to buffer quite a bit of this quick wire, so I just built an industrial storage container. It's basically a double storage crate, but it stacks it automatically. It has 2 inputs, 2 outputs, so it makes building stuff a little bit easier sometimes if you're working on different elevations. So have that outputting of the top into a lift, which then feeds our quick wire right around here into an assembler to make us AI limiters. Now I only have one of these running because really I don't need more than that. It's 5 a minute, that's plenty. We have way more quick wire coming in, so that industrial container downstairs will slowly fill up. Copper sheeting, that is being built right on over here. So I built I think this is just a normal, it's a normal copper ore from the Buildable Resource Nodes mod, and use that to make us some copper ingots, use the constructors, Coolio, and then we get our AI limiters right here. So this is what you use to make the smart splitter. So I set up a little factory to make it easier for me to build the items that I use to build factories. So there you go. Just wanted to show it to you so you could have an idea of what we got done. With that being said, we need to get the base stuff done because we can't actually do any milestone research. We have it all finished at the moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at trying to get some smart plating figured out, shall we? So I think we're going to build that right in the center of the base. It's smart plating. Our base is a smart base. Lols. But no, so we're going to put our smart plating in the middle. The way I'm going to do this, I'm going to snap this in the middle of this one. Am I out of zoop mode again? Why does that keep turning off? Don't turn off zoop. It's a useful tool. So we're going to go up like this. We're going to make this with a walkway turn. And the reason why I do this little walkway turn thing is it allows you, A, to make your stairs a little bit more compact, and then B, you can turn this into a T-junction at some point if you want, and I could build a ramp down here, I could build a ramp up into another platform, or I could build it in a crosswalk, ramp, another platform. You get the idea. So we're just going to go from here and add in another, we'll call it three ramps, because we did 4 and 3, that's 7 total. Let's go ahead and see if we can't line up our foundation. So it looks like the line is like that. Let's just, it is not like that. I forgot. I normally go out one. And that's why I go out one. It helps kind of avoid that issue where you walk, where the foundation doesn't snap where you want it to. Meaning that it's on a different elevation. Is that in line? I believe it would be, right? Because we came out even. I guess the point to check is right there. Is that in line with the foundations? I think. So this needs to move over one, I believe. Like that. No, it was right before. Whatever, it won't matter. This is not going to be that big of a platform. Or, well, actually, this platform should be a little bit bigger. Because each assembler only builds 2 a minute. So, like, none. And we want 300 of them for this phase research. So if we have a few assemblers making these, we can do that a bit quicker. So that's enough space for 8 of them. I could maybe squeeze 10. Let's try to fit 10 if we can. So we'll put all the inputs facing this direction. 1, 2. That'll be the tricky part, is fitting the 5th one. So I guess if we put it on this side, it'll be fine. So we'll put 3 on that side, 2 on this side. We're going to stagger these. Like that, I guess. Sure. Set our recipes, so we're making smart plating. And if you're wondering how I'm moving as fast as I am, it's because I am wearing the blade runners, so those increase your move speed and such. But there we go. I mean, it'd be better if I move these back one, so let's go ahead and do that. Just so we can actually, like, use this one as a walkway, you know. So if I move these, let's move them back just slightly. And we can have a targeted output of the box down here that we're not using. So there's a box underneath our rotors, so I could try to aim for that. Let's actually get the snap point for the lift built for that. because it's going to be a little bit tricky to get back behind here, and I don't really want to break that ramp in order to do it. I know that's the easiest way, but yeah, it's not the way I want to deal with it. So let's see if we can find a belt. There's probably one here. Yeah, kind of. Oh, not quite. No. So close. That's fine. There we go. This will work. Let's go right here, because this is the box we are looking for. These are the droids we are looking for. Okay, here we go. Let's take this right here. We're gonna rotate that bad boy just like this. And if I walk up this ramp, now that I have it connected, it will stay connected until I click this to determine the height. So about there. Cool. This is our output belt. Awesome. Yeah. As far as connecting that might be a little bit interesting, but let's see if we can handle the outputs first. We're gonna do that with mergers. Ultimately, they're all gonna need to come out right here. So let's just merge this in directly to the belt right here, and then we can focus on merging these two into a merger and the other two into a merger. Might be a little bit simpler, hopefully. So we're gonna take this. Connect this. Shoves us out, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Take this. Connect that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take layer lift. Take it right here. It will not stack right there, so we do need to bring that up one level. Okay, that's fine. But once we go up one, then we can stack them like that, I think. So the only problem with that is I don't know. So that one has its output going this direction. This one has its output going this direction. Let's connect these first. So this one goes in like that. This one goes in like that. Okay, cool. So there we go. Now all we got to do is connect the mergers that are right here, connected via these. With belts to each of the assemblers. So pretty good. It's small footprint, it just not vertically, like it's a vertically integrated design, which tends to work fairly good in this game because you have lifts that work the way they do. I don't know. I've found good use of the lifts. If you have not, I apologize. Hopefully this will give you some insight into how you could potentially use them with a little more effect to clean up, you know, the spaghetti mess that you end up having inevitably in this game because there's just so much stuff being moved around. And maybe that's just me. Maybe you don't get spaghetti mess, and if that's the case, more power to you. But either way, I like these mergers the way I'm setting them up. I think it looks good-ish. I can go through and kind of design this stuff out with pillars and stuff to support everything and make it look decent after we finish getting everything connected. At this point, I'm more focused on, can I make it work? And yes, I can definitely make this work. So there we go. We've got belts kind of going weird right here. So maybe the solution to that would be throw each of these with a lift on output as opposed to a belt. Easy enough. Bring it up. And you just give it a little bit of height is all we're doing here. Nothing too fancy. I think that's right. I didn't actually count those. Alright, that's fine. So they're different heights, but that actually might look kind of cool when we feed them in. So this is one of the lower ones, so that can go in here. The other lower one will go on the back. Okay. Normally the blade runners allow you to get out of stuff that would otherwise require you to break something, so they're helpful. Go, 1, 2, and then if I walk on this, 3. Perfect. And now we've got clearance, so we can walk through the middle at the moment. I say at the moment because we still got to do the inputs, but we've got everything connected, so the outputs will actually go to where they're supposed to go. Let's get power sorted, because unfortunately I forget to do power all the time until the very end, and then it gets a little bit more complicated and doesn't look as good. So we're just going to do something kind of simple like this. So everything's powered off of this pole. It has no connections left, but we can connect it up like that. These have recipes, these do not. So not this. We're making smart plating is what we're making. So smart plating, this will make us 10 smart plating a minute once we connect the inputs. So as far as the inputs go, let's kind of figure that out. We're going to need rotors, and we're going to need reinforced iron plates. Now we're going to need 10 of each of those a minute, which is not a lot, so Mark 1 belts for everything. Super simple as far as that's concerned. As far as actually connecting these things together, what we can do is we can throw... I mean, part of me is thinking we will do something like this. So if I can get this splitter to snap, thank you, and then I'll snap another splitter right here. I can go like that, go like that, go like that, not like that, but into the splitter. Bring this one in here, and then this one, go with that one, and we can go with that one. Now what I could do to fix this portion is resort to lifts again. So if I take Mark 1 lifts, just bring it up like a little bit. Went up to 2, I think. Then I can take one of these, and snap points together. So this part is not working quite the way we want. So what we'll do, we'll leave the lifts on this, because that gives us our target height, right? Okay, cool. Makes sense, hopefully. On the next part, what we can do is try bringing these out different directions. So like that one can feed to that one. Or actually, I did that backwards. Start on this one. Rotate it this direction. That will feed to that, and that will probably snap. It's a little bit of a whoop, like swoopy looky thing, but that's fine. Not a big deal. There we go. Another one, but consistent design takes it out of your walkway, so we can still kind of walk in between these if we want to. For the rest, what we're going to do is basically, if I can get this to work, I'm going to be shocked, but we're going to try it. I don't, yeah, it's not going to be able to bridge that. It's too steep of a curve, which is okay. Not the end of the world. If I bring it out to here, so it's in line with this conveyor belt, like that, and then same thing, we're going to do it for the first two, like that, connect those, and then we're going to build more lifts, just bear with me, and actually we're going to build the lifts on the inside, because I think I can sneak this belt around a little bit easier. Did I place a merger instead of a splitter? I think so. Shoot. That's a splitter. Cool. Gotta break that belt though. Input is right there. Inline, perfect. Inline, perfect. Okay, there we go. It was a merger. The orange ones are mergers, so yeah, that's what the issue was. So if I bring... I just don't really want the, so for this one, I can do something like that and use the end to make the bridge point out. Because this, well, actually no. It's going to be a similar struggle. So I got to map this part out. I need this to snap to right here. Unless I can get this to snap out here, it takes up too much of the space. So, we need to figure out this. It's going to be a bit of spaghetti, but that's okay. If we can get it looking the same on both sides, I'll be okay with it. So something like that still leaves you a little bit of room at least. That won't work. Let's actually build it off of this. Okay. So, I mean, it's kind of congested, but you can still walk through. And if you're sliding, you can slide under those because there's no structural supports. So, okay, that's fine. Connect this one up. All right. Those are connected. Now, we're going to do a similar thing with the lifts. We're going to take mark one lift. And these, I think we're going to do one elevation taller. Oh, I need more iron plates. I thought 400 would be enough. It was not. However, wow, we jumped pretty far. The Blade Runners are awesome. Take 400, sure. Where were we building that? It was behind me. It's easy to get lost in this place now because it's getting sizable and it's like vertically scaled, so like I have stuff going up in the air and everything, which looks really cool, but yeah, it's easy to get lost in it sometimes, or forget where you were doing stuff. But there we go. If I bring it up one more, actually, let's bring it up two more, so it stands above that belt on this one. So we're gonna do something like that, and then this one is gonna go out this direction. We're gonna get it like this. We're gonna go like that. Cool. Then we're gonna get another one. Pull it up. Do something like that. Bring. Nope. Come on. Snap points. Cooperate. And there we go. So that is the logistics of our stuff figured out pretty much. It looks kind of like a jumbled mess in the air, but it is all in the air. So, I mean, realistically speaking, how many foundations is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a 6x4 assembler setup, including logistics. That's pretty compact, reasonably speaking. So all we got to do is throw in input right here. And we need to throw in another input. Actually, let's do like what we did a minute ago and actually set where this input comes in. So there's enough room for the, like that. Okay, so 2 inputs, both are gonna go right there. And the inputs are in these boxes here. So what we really need to do. So here's our rotor line. Let's maybe do this back a bit. So here's our reinforced iron plates, which is the other one we need. So let's do those first, maybe. Too steep. Might be able to do it on that. I think I have the correct belt. Overflow. I think that's the right one. We're going to do it on the right, and it's going to be any undefined. We're going to take our lift. I wish I could scale that right there. I need to unlock ladders. It costs 3 points. It's not that expensive. I just don't have the 3 points as of right now. I actually don't really want it coming into the foundation right there, so I think what we're going to do, bring it out the top like this, and maybe we'll bring it over in this direction a little bit right here, so we could bring our rotors here kind of in line, or that's reinforced iron plates. We'll bring the rotors over next. Doing it in chunks like this makes it a little bit easier to manage sometimes. So if you're struggling with getting, you know, your logistics, looking decent or like figured out from what you already have, like you're making items maybe, and you're like, I know I have enough, I could build this factory because like I've got rotors, I've got the plates and everything, but I need to figure out how to get them where they need to go. This might be useful for you. Hopefully it is. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump up. And this one we're not going to mess with the lift. There's not really a point. We'll take the soft clipping. In fact, if we wanted to avoid that, we could just do this. And then I do want this lift kind of on its own box, so we'll put that right there. And there's our rotors. So now we can take Mark 1 lift, and I do want to bridge these up to that one, just because I can go vertically here and it's not going to collide with stuff, or at least for that one. We might have to check the rotors, but that's fine. So if I take this over the top a little bit, I can bring it in to here, scale it up, get it connected right there, and I can still fit through this. In fact, to make that look a little bit better, I wish it would snap on this. If I build one, okay, fine. I guess what I could do is put the input up one. Let's extend this lift. I think I'll be able to grab those belts from here. Let's check the rotors real quick. Yeah, the rotor belt's gonna have to move anyway, so fine. Deal with that in a minute. Let's bring it up like that. Too tall. Okay, we're gonna do some weird loop-de-loop looking thing. Doesn't want to cooperate. That's okay. We got it. We got it. We can figure this out. What I need is for it not to snap immediately. Let's see. Alright, bring it out this way a bit. Bring it up. Oh, come on. There we go. Can I bring it back down? Oh, it'll snap there? Perfect. Good enough. Yeah, my goodness. What a disgusting belt that is, but notwithstanding, we're gonna let that slide, I suppose. Build that up right now. And if I put, that's not gonna be tall. I'm just trying to figure this one out before we get into the same spot where we are stuck with something that's not gonna work for us. So let's maybe put it here, bring it up. Then we can rotate it through. Boom. Okay. That'll work. We need to bring this over like that. Build another lift. We can put this one down a little bit shorter. Doesn't have to be super duper tall. There we go. Perfect. Okay. That is our inputs. Donezo. So these should start making us our smart plating slowly over time. I still need to connect up the output. Still need to do that. Right? we didn't finish that. No, we finished that earlier. I forgot. We did a lot of belting. Sorry about that. Okay, so that should slowly fill up our box with smart plating. If I can get up this ramp, we can take a look and see what's going on. So you can see the items going up these gigantic lifts, which looks kind of cool. A little bit of soft clipping. I wouldn't mind moving that up a little bit if I'm honest, but nitpicky. But our smart plating should show up in here once it starts coming down the belt. These boxes are full, so that's fine. The overflow should be handled, but since items are going up the lifts, that means that the other stuff is working the way it's supposed to. But this is the lift that should have our smart plating coming down. So we'll wait for those to come on out. We'll just verify that things are working. I guess we could also do that by running on up here. And we could like pre-feed some of this stuff. Like I've got rotors, for example. So I can put some rotors in. Because the belt is quite long on the rotors. That's the only downside. Like this is inefficient AF because our rotor belt is 1.5 miles long. But you know, you make do. I wanted a reasonably like compact horizontally and stuff build. So here we go. Pretty cool. I like it. Anyway. So I guess that's all that matters. So let's take a look. I just want to see the smart plating coming down this belt. That's all I want to look at. Okay, well, let's see. So that's another. So that is an objective or a phase item figured out. So that's good. We're starting to build smart plating. We need 500 of them to do phase 2. I don't recall if you need them for the next phase or not, but we may need them as an input for something else. So having that factory set up is good. We've got 10 beam made a minute. So in 50 minutes or so, about an hour, we'll have enough smart plating to load space elevator with that resource. We need versatile framework is the next one, which is 12 steel beams and 1 modular frame. So 30 a minute on the beams, 2.5 on the frame for 5 a minute. So for these, honestly, I wouldn't mind having, so steel beams, let's take a look at that recipe. I believe that is just constructor. This requires 60 ingots a minute in a foundry. I believe if I'm using coal dust, which is the more efficient alternate recipe that I got, well, just basic is 45 a minute. Doing this, so 2 of them would be 90, and it's 60 for each, so I'd need 4 of these, or well, no, that's not quite right. So let's look at this recipe down here. This is using an alternate that I got, using carbon dust and iron ingot to make steel, so this is 30 a minute, so 2 each, so 4 for 2. I could do this because running 4 of these only takes 2 iron smelters, and it only takes 1 carbon dust factory. Carbon dust factory, or constructor rather, is only 40 coal, and then so I think that might be a slightly better version for us. So let's go ahead and grab the resources and try to get some our versatile frame set up, because I would like to get some more progress made. I'm going to sort this bag before I take a bunch of ore, but I think what we're going to do, we only need it takes what, 40? So if I do, I can only fit 10, so we'll do just the size node, I suppose. There we go. It's right over there. Do I want to build it over on that side? I mean, I could, I suppose. Why not? Let's do it. We're gonna go ahead and swap this out for a T crossing. Will it just one, please. Thank you. And then instead, oh, no wonder it was glitching out. It's the wrong connect. Not that it necessarily matters. If I'm using walkways, I should stick with walkways. If I'm using catwalks, I should stick with catwalks. You know, that's how I feel about it. The only benefit of doing the catwalks is that you can have stairs on this little bit as opposed to a ramp, but I actually prefer the ramp. I think you actually build up more speed on the, like if you slide down it when compared to stairs, so yeah. That may not be true. I don't actually know. I haven't tested it or anything, but it works, so why change it? I mainly unlocked the catwalk stuff because I wanted the stairs as an option in case I wanted to build stairs instead of ramp as an aesthetic design choice, and that literally just as an aesthetic design choice. That's the only reason why. So there we go. All right, we got that connected up. Pretty cool, pretty cool. It is off by a little bit, and that's because we're snapping this on the center of a foundation instead of a corner of a foundation. So if I brought this back one, so like if I made that the T crossing, it would work fine. Do I really want to change this all for that? I don't. Well, I kind of do. We're going to do it. Forget it. Figured out how to fix it. Let's fix it. I need this right here, please. So walkway T crossing. Snap this. Good job. Break this one. Turn it into a corner again. And then I'm going to leave the ramp up just so I know how tall to make it. Straightaways. About 10. No, that's fine. I grabbed the foundation by mistake. This should bump right into the edge and no longer do the soft clipping. Oh, no, it does. Well, screw me. I just wasted a bunch of time. I thought that was going to fix it. It did not. So, I don't know. It's okay, though. I guess having the railing going out into this kind of makes sense since you are kind of like overhanging from a killable drop. Like, falling that distance maybe wouldn't kill you, but over the edge right here, like into the water, yeah, you die. So we're fine. We're just gonna leave that as is. I mean, I don't think this would ever change is the thing because it's okay. Forget it. It's fine. So we can build stuff up here. This is a fairly large platform. I believe it's an 11 by 11, if I'm not mistaken. I built it out pretty big. I don't recall exactly how big though. So we can build a normal coal node. Let's just stick that back here for the time being. Put down our production, just kind of take a look. So I could build a miner Mark II and get a bit more out of this. That might give us enough to build. So this will do 120 coal per minute. So 120 is going to be enough for three carbon dust factories, which is 300 carbon dust. We really don't need that much. So you know what? We're just gonna do this as Mark 1. Let's just keep it simple, keep it small. I guess. I mean, we could go crazy with it. Like, so I mean, the reason why we're doing this is for steel. So we need 30 steel beams a minute for each one of the assemblers we want to place. To build that is two constructors. So to get a single assembler, we need 2 constructors making steel beams. Each of those takes 60 steel ingots each, so we need a total of 120 steel ingots in order to run one versatile framework factory. If we want to do more than that, we need 240 iron ingots. So let's take a look at our foundry and see how to do this. So we could go this recipe, which is 3 coal, 3 iron. It'll output 45 a minute. Not amazing. because the ratio is not going to be perfect. If we do this method, it will do 30 a minute, takes 9 carbon dust and 3 iron ingots. So it expands the size that we need of the factory because we have to process iron ore into iron ingots and then coal into carbon dust. But in return, what you get is a rounded ratioed output of steel. So this is 30. So we'd need 4 of these foundries doing that. So to run 4 of these foundries, we need 2 carbon dust factories because we need 200-ish, a little less than 200. So each carbon dust factory takes 40 coal per minute. So if I throw in one of these power shards and bump that up, that should go to 90. I can actually scale that down to 80. 134. Sure. 135%. Why not? We'll call it that. And that's just to run 1, right? So that is not... That's only 5 versatile frames a minute. I'd prefer to run 10, so like 10 frames a minute, I mean. So 2 factories, which would require 8 smelters, which would require 4. So that would require 2. Because we need 3, I think we need 400 coal dust, which is 4 factories. So 40, I need 160 components. That's 180. Tailor this down to 160. And boom. That's the coal ore that we need. Let's go grab the iron real quick so we can place that node. Or actually, you know what? Let's start building the factory so we can empty our bag a bit. Because what I want to do is place a pure iron node, I believe. So this coal right here is going to have to be processed into coal dust. So we're going to take, I think we're going to split this into 2s. That's how we're going to do this. So 2 and 2. And that's how we're going to manage the outputs as well, because our max belt can handle 270, and each of these outputs 100 items a minute, so I can only handle 2 constructors on a belt at a time. For this, all we really need to do is split the line, and I'm not too concerned about it being a perfect ratio. I think it'll be okay. Like if I throw one here, and then throw one here, mark 2 belt connecting those, mark 1 belt into each of these. Set the recipe to dust. Power them. Then we'll just connect this line with the coal miner that we've got going. Those should start going. We need to put power. I'll do that in a moment. So this is 180 a moment. So really, I think we do need the Mark 3s, yeah? Yep. So there we are. We can actually up that. Sure. Good enough. So those will start. I'll let the coal kind of backlog for a moment. Meaning like while I place the power and get everything else connected. To there. Together. And across. Cool. Alright, so there's our coal dust being made. Now I need to take a merger on this one. Merger on this one. These need to be marked 2 belts on the outputs of the factories, or the constructors, whatever, because they are doing 100 items a minute, and mark 1s are only good for 60. Now I am going to bring both of these. Well, let's do this one first. So let's bring you right there. Sure, keep it in line. Why not? If I place this down, then snap the belt off that. I can get it. Maybe. There we go. Awesome. So now we got those two coming out here. We've got our dust ready to rock and roll. Those are going to feed into foundries. Now, we've got 200 dust. Let's just look at this recipe real quick. So, it's 45 dust per minute. So that means for the 200 line, if we wanted to place four of these would take roughly to the 200 line with a little excess. So we'll do it in banks of 4s on the foundries. So let's go ahead and set up a bank of 4 on the back tile here. Leave a bit of room, I guess. Not a whole lot, just enough. So if we want to walk around them on the outside edge, we can. Now, I want to leave a little bit of space in the middle because we do need to fit logistics for 2 inputs, not just 1. Perfect. Set the recipes. Connect the power, and then we'll read the design, basically. So outputs are coming here. So if we bridge this across, we are going to link all the outputs together, I think, because let's see, we've got 30 times 8. 3 times 8 is 240, so we'd be able to handle that on a Mark III belt. So yeah, we're going to connect all the outputs together anyway, so we can utilize this area as maybe like the central meeting point of the outputs. So let's build the other set of 4 foundries right here. Line them up as best we can. Again, I'm going to leave just a little bit of space between these bricks of foundries, just so we are not hindering our ability to build, right? So on this one, I left a foundation, right? Foundation. So we'll do the same. Alright, cool. And again, set recipes. And get power figured out. Bring this one to here. I don't like maxing out the power poles. I know it doesn't necessarily matter, but I don't like doing it. So we'll max out this one, but we'll leave the one on the end open, with the slot open. We'll connect that there. Cool. So those all have power now. They just need input. So here's some of the input. Let's go ahead and get that figured out. So we are going to... It's only 40 coal that's going in. So what we want is basically a splitter on the front end of each of these, and then we split that into 2 lines. One here, one on the other side. We could do it that way, or we could just do it kind of like thrown together is the other option, which is kind of the option I'm going for, I think, because it doesn't necessarily matter. As long as it's working, I'm not going to look at this again. So basically all we're doing is something kind of like this. Now these in the middle need to be Mark III because we're connecting to a Mark III input belt, right? What I'm going to do on this part is actually put these up in the air. Because then I can potentially have a little bit of working room underneath, is what I'm thinking. So we'll do something like that. Cool. So that should be the coal dust for one of them built. We could go ahead and kind of build a similar type of structuring for this belt, because it's going to go roughly to the same spot. I mean, it's not quite the same spot, but pretty close. So this one's going to go out here. place the splitters first. And on this one, I guess, let's do the coal dust on the outside edge, just for symmetry's sake. Middle one is a Mark III, the rest are all Mark Is. Cool. And actually, this, yeah, that is supposed to be. There we go. Alright, coal dust should be going in. Now we just need to make iron ingots. So each one of these bricks is going to require 60 iron ingots a minute. So we need a total of 120 iron ingots being made, which is going to require 120 ore a minute. So if we build a pure node, we can do it with a Mark 1 miner. If we have to build a normal node because we don't have bag space, we will be forced to use a Mark 2 miner. Doesn't necessarily matter, we should be able to figure it out. Let's go ahead, grab this, and see what we are working with. So yeah, I won't have room for a pure node, so let's just go with the normal node, and we'll just use Mark 2 here. So we're already getting smart plating. As you can see, the box is filling up slowly but surely. I am going to go ahead and grab some rotors. I also should grab some cabling. And then, what else are we kind of low on? Ooh, modular frames I could use. I need some of these rods. Let's go grab the modular frames real quick. I don't know exactly what I'm using all of those on, but they are used to build some of the buildings and stuff that are higher tier. And that's okay. It's not a big deal. We have access to them. It's just gotta come over and pick them up. Awesome. Let's take some of those. Alright, we need to get up there. There is an access point right here. Having these walkways does kind of help keep your base organized a little bit, because like if you stick to the ramps and the walkways, you're not going to get lost, like you're going to go where you're supposed to. We do need to get the outputs of these figured out. I kind of want to get the iron smeltery placed and built first though, just because I kind of have a feeling we're going to need to extend this up a level, just because. So to do the iron, we need 120 iron ingots, right? So each one of these is 30, so we need 4 irons. That's actually not too bad. Alright. Let's place the node first. So we've got a normal iron node, and that's where a ramp is, so we could place it in kind of close. Production, Mark 2. Oh, I need more miners. Didn't realize that was it. Oh. Drop 20 levels like a maniac. Break your legs. Alright. Whoops, that's the man, not this. Need 4. I'm gonna build 4. I only need 2, but we're gonna use 2 right away. I like having some on me, just in case I need to place another miner. Happens more frequently than you would think. But we're getting closer. We're getting closer to that versatile frame factory. We're getting the steel built to supply the steel plates. Then as far as getting the rest, should be pretty easy. So let's get a miner Mark 2. I think this one will do facing straight ahead. And for the smelters, I kind of like want them to go like this. Yeah, I like that. We'll do something like that. Boom. Okay. This 120 a minute. Awesome. That's what we're looking for. Put down another dedicated power pole, mainly because that one's getting full, and also because we need to connect these smelters into the grid. Okay, cool. So those are ready. That's the outputs. Let's get those handled. Actually, each one of these is doing 30 a minute, so 30, 60, 120. I could actually just... No, I want to bring it over in one belt. We'll put these reasonably close. We'll just use one on each thing. Not a big deal. Boom. Boom. Put Mark 2 after the first one. Mark 3 after that. I don't think it actually needs to be Mark 3, but I'm going to use Mark 3 because I have access to them. It'll speed up the flow of items through the factory. Make sure that they get through. Okay, so these are iron ingots. That's what we need to put into our smelter. So this needs to be split into 2 lines. One line needs to go there, one line needs to go there. That's what needs to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this belt right over here. We're going to split it. We're going to bring it up in the air with a lift. That's supposed to be Mark 3. We're going to use one of these just because we can, more or less. Let us know what's going on this, I guess. That's kind of the idea. Something like that. Okay, cool. That's basically set up. This needs to be recipe set. Recipe set. Now, let's get the ore inside of this. So I need 2 splitters. Okay, the input for that one's on the back, so... Boom. Okay. Just for okay, that's fine. I don't actually care. Good enough. So there's iron ingots. Cool. We need to take these out. So that's a splitter. We've got 1 line. We need a second line as well. And actually, that doesn't need to be a Mark 3. Let's do each of these as a Mark. Really, it can be a Mark 1. Do each as a Mark 1. Put this one in this direction. Because there's only 120 coming out of here. Splitter. We're going to do something similar to like what we did with the coal dust. Put one there. Put one there. Connect the middle. 2 belt. And I guess that's why I would maybe use a Mark II for all of this. So let's go ahead and upgrade that to Mark II. It moves it a little bit faster. I mean, probably not that big of a deal. Especially if we give stuff time to buffer, which it will have. Oh, come on. That's so dumb. Okay, one bank done. Let's go get the other one done. Place splitters. Cool. Mark 2. Did I bring that down like that? I did. I actually don't really care for that. Prefer to do it with a lift. So we'll do that. Boom. Okay, cool. So there we go. Now our steel should be crafting. Once the iron on this goes, that'll be our second battery complete. Everything's connected, yeah. Here it comes. Awesome. Here comes our iron. And we'll just let that go. We need to deal with our outputs. So first things first, we've got the outer edge here. So that has 2. Go ahead and merge them in with the output going this direction. How much is coming out? 30? Okay. So the first one here can just be, well, Mark 1s from each of the actual like foundries. Going out, this one can be a Mark 1 because it is only at 60 items, so that's fine. We'll bring that along. Sure. Now these, if I merge, how do I want to do this? So merging those two are not in line. That's the only thing. So I could go 1, and I could go 2, and I could go 3. That's not quite right. So let's go 1, 2, and then if I throw in another 1 right there, we're going to go ahead and use Mark 3 at this point, just because it probably won't need more than a Mark 2 at any stage, but I just am being cautious. So let's go ahead and bring in this one and this one. That should be Mark 3. That can be Mark 1 because I know it's only 60. So there we go. There's that. And I mean, this one really doesn't need to be a Mark 3, but whatever. Meant to hit merger, not splitter. We're looking for the output to go this direction in line with that one. This one can also be a Mark 1 belt because it's only 60. There's that. Output's configured. So now, this one has the total 240 coming out. Right here. Cool. 240 steel ingots. Awesome possums. Right? Because we've got 8 times 3 is 240. Okay, now this needs to be built into steel plates. Or steel beams, not steel plates, steel beams. I apologize. So steel beams is what we're making next. So these take 60 per minute each. So we have enough steel ingots right here to do 4. So we're going to build 4 constructors next. I think we're going to kind of just squeeze it in right here. So let's maybe... How much room do I actually have right here? I might have enough. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I do. Awesome. We'll just do that. Kind of like how we set up the smelters. We'll just do the similar type of thing with the constructors. Put them in a line. Let's go ahead and get these powered. Bring this over. This over, this over, this over, connect those, and snap point. Cool. Now, I do want to bring out another power pole that's a little bit easier to find. So we're just going to place one right there. Okay, we need to go ahead and set our recipes. Right, or we did, so they're steel beams, so cool. All we really need to do is figure out how we're going to move these steel ingots. So since I just got some steel ingots, we'll drop those in. Break this for a moment, and let's figure this out. So we're going to need 2 splitters. I think we're going to do a similar like stacking setup like we did before. Input's going to be there. If I put it in line, sure, let's put it in line. And then this one I want the, sure, inputs on the side. Why not, huh? We'll do this one because it's the bridging belt as a Mark III. And then the bottom we'll have a Mark III feeding in, like so. Boom. Then we're just going to go Mark I and split off these into each of these constructors with our splitters. It's not a perfect ratio split. I understand like why you would want a perfect ratio split potentially. Like a 1-to-4 perfect split would be better or more efficient potentially, but this is good enough, I think, for what we're trying to do. So yeah, this is how we're gonna approach the problem. There we go, get it done. Let's go ahead, throw in our mergers output going forward. And these are only doing 15 a minute, so they be Mark 1s. So we only, after all of that work, we only have 60 steel beams a minute being made. So not a whole lot, but we do have them. So here is that output. Cool. Slowly but surely getting there. So let's go ahead and remind ourselves what we're trying to build. We're building versatile frames, or versatile frameworks. So steel beams and modular frame is the other item. Now, I already built a modular frame factory, so I'm going to just utilize the output of that factory over in this part of our factory. So I'm just going to bring over a belt. So if we're building 60, we can afford 2 of these, which is not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway. 1 and 2. I mean, it's still 10 a minute, so like it's not the worst in the world. It's just not super fast. I guess that's in line with our smart plating production, so no worries. So one of these these are gonna need steel beams on one of the inputs, and then the other input is gonna be for our frames. So let's go ahead and get the steel beams put in. So all we really need to do for that is bring this belt over. Now part of me kind of wants to make this a little bit fancier and run it up with lifts, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. This can be all Mark 1s for the steel beams because we are not taking all that much of them. I need this on the input. Come on, snap to the input, please. There, I believe. Boom. Okay. And that is steel beams going into the splitter. And then if we do this, we've got 30 going into each, because 60 comes in, splits into 2 lines of 30. So this is a perfect split of the steel beams, assuming there's 60 on the belt, on the input of that splitter. So cool, perfect. And then modular frames is next. We could do something similar here with just throw the input somewhere. I think we're going to have the input coming out the back, though, just because it might be a little bit easier as far as the lifts are concerned. Possibly. Because, well, where's the box of modular frames? I think is over here, right? Like, this is the factory that makes them is right here. So it's going to come over this direction. So what we can do is bring this out to the edge. Bit more because this is where the walkway is. And then we just snap the lift off of that. So, okay. I need to get over to this belt. Ooh, we made it. Awesome. I do not have a smart splitter on that belt yet, so what I can do is actually put it here because this belt feeds that one anyway. Because I still want to bank the overflow rather. So we're gonna do that, and then I forget. Do I have an efficiency checker on this? I don't recall what the number is off the top of my head, unfortunately. So let's throw one on. Take a look. I've got the materials to spare. Let's see what we're getting. Modular frames through this bad boy. So 15 a minute. That's more than enough for the two. So, but we only need a Mark 1 belt for these. That is the right direction. So right is any undefined. And I think I am going to bring this to the edge of the platform here. Shoot. Not what I wanted to do. This is why it's maybe a good idea to build walls around your base, as opposed to running around with just empty open concept foundations like I'm doing. But I can actually get this point from here, so it's fine. There we are. Very lift Mark 1. There to there. Sure. Goes up a little taller than it needs to, but that's kind of like an effect type thing. You can see this giant stack of modular frames. Oh yeah, look at them go. Cool. So this, I mean, it only utilizes, we're only using 5 modular frames a minute to run this setup. So really we are not using that much. We probably could have just split off steel beams from the box or the factory that we already have making them, but I wanted to do a dedicated line using the Buildable Resources Node mod, because that's, like, the reason why I installed that mod is so I could do dedicated lines like this. I could just build the nodes that I need, put in the inputs, place the factories, and there you go. Let's go ahead and handle the output for this. So we're going to have the output going like this, and I'm going to bring in a Mark 1 belt into each side, and it's still just a Mark 1 belt on the output. However, we are going to try to bring that up just so it's not in the walkway, and we're going to bring this over here because I kind of want to localize the storage of these over where I have the storage of the rest of my stuff. So for this, I only have 36 belts, or 36 iron is the only thing. So maybe we won't. We'll just leave these where they're at. Put them in a box. Call it good. We'll do an industrial one though, just so we can bank up a ton, because it's not like it hurts us to have a lot of these. I'm pretty sure if we don't use them in the next phase, we'll use, like, they'll be a required component for something else, so having a stockpile will be useful in the long term. So there we go. That factory is done. So we now have smart plating being built automatically at 10 per minute. We have versatile frames being built at 10 a minute. So I guess even though the smart plating probably has, the hour is maybe passed on that or is getting close, the hour resets now because we have an hour worth of production of these versatile frames until we have enough to finish the milestone. So fine, not a big deal. We need 100 automated wiring harnesses, which if I open this up, equip parts, I think is what that's under. These guys, automated wiring. So I need stators and I need cables. Now I only need 100 of these to do the phase, so I could handcraft those 100 pretty easily. But I wouldn't mind getting a Stator Factory anyway, so we need wire and steel piping. That's not too bad, in all honesty. That's not too bad. I've got the steel pipe already, so like there's a line of steel piping right there. And then wire is just as simple as placing a copper node. So I really could do that quite simply. Let's go ahead and build a Stator Factory. I want stators anyway. You can use them to build battery storage, which is useful when you're playing with refined power. So let's go ahead and throw down a storage container for stators that we're going to fill up with overflow. But the other half is going to be for use in our automated wiring. So we've got steel pipes up there. We need copper ore, so let's go grab some copper ore. I believe I've got some boxed over here. Gotta run through this gauntlet of stuff. Yeah, so we'll just take 10. We'll build a normal node again. I could do a pure node and just like scale the production of stators to be a really big factory, but I don't necessarily want to exhaust all my pipes that are coming up here. So as you can see, we have 60 a minute going through, and we need 50 a minute just to run what's connected to that belt already. So really, the way we should do this is scale our steel pipe production, but I don't want to make more steel ingots and go through setting up that foundry thing again, because it's kind of annoying to do, if I'm honest. And we have the modular frame, like that modular frame box is full already. So really the 50 that this is taking is not being consumed. Yeah, so let's go ahead and do this. We're trying to put it in a box right here. So maybe if we put it off of this, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. So first things first, I wouldn't mind replacing this with a T. And then using ramps. Kind of bring this in. So I am going to break that one below. Use straightaways so I can get over this belt. Then we'll turn it. Actually, let's go one more so we're not on that power pole. Come on. Snap. Okay, good enough. So we'll use this, run on up, and come up here, and we can build another little platform. I mean, really all we're doing, so to build the stators, they are in a simpler recipe. So this takes 40 wire, 15 steel pipe. Oh, how many did that produce? I didn't pay attention. I wouldn't mind having maybe 2. Yeah, 5 minutes, so let's maybe do 2 of these. I mean, in theory, we could place it up here. We could place another 2 assemblers and just put another box. That would work. Let's do that. Utilize the space. So there's a ramp right here. This is the walkway. So we're going to want the box like here, maybe. We'll do another industrial storage container. Why not? Why not? And let's go ahead and throw back these assemblers. So the inputs are going to be coming from here. We'll just put these in line. Maybe. Yeah. Not quite. I do need these in line. Like that, so I can throw down splitters. One's per pipe, which is this one. Why is that offset? What the heck? Okay, the split is just off. This one to this one. Okay. And then what I want to do, just to make this a little bit easier on myself, is throw some lifts up on here. Just so I can find the snap points. Whoops. And then what I can do on the output for this one, since it's going to have to come around, is I can throw a lift on that. Oh, I don't have enough iron. Shoot, forgot to pick that up. Alright. Grab that iron plate. So we're just gonna go up here and finish getting everything hooked up. I'm gonna use a lift on the output of this assembler on the, so not this one, but the one on the back. And then I can feed the belt around to merge it on the other side. That's kind of what the thought is. So, something like this. That. Place a merger. Up here. Well. Place the merger over here. One connected there. One connected there. Okay. Outputs are done. Inputs just need to have the items brought over, so that's relatively easy. All we need to do, are these powered? They're not powered and they aren't set. So we're making stators in both of these. They need power. In both of these. This needs to connect to an open point. One's open, but it's almost full. That one's open and almost full. So let's go ahead and use this one. Branch off another point right here. For later. Just in case. Okay, so these are basically ready. So we've got input 1, input 2. Input, one of them is literally just me mining some copper and turning it into ingots, or into wire. So for that, we are going to require a node to be placed. Might be able to fit that in snugly back here. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. A Mark 1 miner should be more than enough. 30 per minute, I think, is going to do us plenty on copper. We're just making some wire, so with that doing 60, we could potentially... Well, how much do we actually need to supply? So we need 80 a minute, and I get that with one constructor. 30 per minute, so I need 3 constructors. I didn't pay attention to the recipe cost. Mistake. Oh well. 15 each, so I get 2 off of each smelter, so I do need 2 smelters. I do indeed need 2 smelters. Can I get that? That right there. No, not quite. That's fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're basically ramming everything in here anyway, so yeah. This is going to go into merger, then a splitter. In. Whoops. Dang it. because I've got so much stuff right here, it's not always the easiest to tell which snap line you're actually on, you know what I'm saying? So there and there, cool. That's the output, which goes into a splitter, because it's going to go into 3 constructors. Okay. Bring it around like that, sure, fine. Copper here. Copper. Okay. I need a splitter back here. Input from this into that. Into there. Into there. Boom. There's our copper ingots. Now I need 3 constructors making wires. We're almost out of space, but I think I can do this. Gonna be tight. 3. I can get them though, so let's do it this way. And wire. Cool. Boom. Boom. Grab this. There's another power pole. I believe there is one at the front. Yep. Cool. Those are done. Let's go ahead and throw in the merger. I'm gonna go out there. Go back one maybe. Okay. And then like that. Awesome. Now, copper ingots. That needs to go into a splitter. Input is right here. Actually, that needs to be a Mark II. These can all be Mark Is. Okay. I think that did it. Let's just make sure copper's going out on that. It is. So there we go. We got wire going in now. So slowly but surely, wire should start feeding into our assemblers, making our stators. Cool. That's good. Next, we need to bring up the pipes, and then we'll be done. So not too bad. A lot of mess, to say the least, but that's okay. What is this? Is that meant to be modular frames? Did I break something by mistake? I think I did. Whoops. Yeah, I must have. Oh well, that's fine. We'll be okay. We'll go ahead and send that back through, and then I need to figure out where I want to split these. So I could split them like right here. And I think I am just going to use a normal splitter for this. It's not going to be that big of a deal, I don't believe. So, yeah, we're going to do that. Let's go ahead and grab this. Actually, I'm going to take it from the other side. Try to squeeze it in out here. Connect that in. Why does it do that? I don't understand. It's kind of annoying. But fine. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to take our Mark I conveyor belt, and we'll kind of bring this up to a similar height, I guess. Sure. Call it good. And let's run over here And all we really got to do is connect that box with that box, and we are donezo. I think we might need a bridge point. Slightly too long, yep. On top of that constructor it is. Perfect, there we go. So that should be stators done, as in automated. So versatile frames done, stators done. Just gonna take a little bit of time for the atoms to come over because steel pipe belt is fairly long, but not a big deal. I don't believe this is using that much of those, if I'm not mistaken. It's a bit of a mess. Like, you can't really get back here anymore because I crammed stuff in, but that's okay. So we're using 30 steel pipes a minute. So not that much. We only need Mark 1 belts for this whole thing, but cool. Eventually this box will be full of stators and we can come over and grab them. But with that, I think we are going to wrap up the stream for today. We got a lot of work done. So we expanded the factory quite a bit. We got our Stator Factory built. We built a factory to make steel. We built encased industrial beams. We built smart plating, versatile frames, and then we also got a Stator Factory built at the end. We covered a lot on using Buildable Resource Nodes mod in order to make your factory planning a little bit easier to do, meaning like you can make your belts a little bit smaller, like the resources are right where you need them, as opposed to needing to make a 20-mile long belt just to get this mess started. You know what I'm saying? I prefer working this mess as opposed to bringing the resources in. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Pretty fun. At some point, we probably will build a railway and stuff. Let me know down in the comments if you would like to see like railway, hypertube, loop, video, building, that kind of stuff. And I'll do my best to accommodate. With that being said, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to leave a comment down below. And like as always, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Twitch. And until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7.